Speaking of beer, Kamala Harris last night, did you see this? On Stephen Colbert's show, drank a beer. Oh, this was so natural. This was so real. This is totally the thing that male voters want to see. Their female president drinking a beer. Oh, this is just definitely organic. This is totally natural. All right, please roll this from Stephen Colbert last night.
When you first became the nominee and named Tim Walz as your vice president nominee, people were calling it the vibe election. All the vibes were all good. But elections, I think, are won on vibes because one of the old saws is they just want somebody they can have a beer with. Uh-huh. So would you like to have a beer with me so I can tell people what that's like? Okay. This was... Now, we asked ahead of time because I can't just be giving a drink to the Vice President of the United States without asking. You asked for Miller High Life. You asked for Miller High Life.
What?
I'm just curious.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug. So,
cheers.
Cheers.
How long ago was that?
Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The champagne of beers.
There you go.
Oh, my gosh, it's so painful.
Trying to get the Wisconsin vote there, I could see.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't say, I'll take a Bud Light and then wave the trans flag around the whole stage. Like, what? Oh, my gosh, it's so desperate, John. They are in desperation mode with this campaign.
Is it a beer? The last time I had beer, I was at the ballpark, she said. I'm like, no, you have a beer. Last time I had a beer.
Yeah.
If you drink.
Yes, that's a good point.
I guess I was saying. If you drink, you say, I had a beer. And then most of us don't even say beer. You had a pop or whatever, Had a cool one.
Notice how she said, too, the last time I had a beer was at a baseball game with Doug. It's not like, I was at the Nationals game a few weeks back, had a beer. Like
vivid memory.
What year was this, 2012?
It was there when they shut out the Padres or whatever, something.
Something of note.
I had beer there.
I believe Kamala Harris is a regular beer drinker, just like I believe she owns a Glock. Two things that definitely are not true. But, hey, they're trying hard to ingratiate themselves to the male voter. And, we're going to drink a Miller High Life during the Stephen Colbert Show.
Well, you need Pennsylvania. Could you drink a Rolling Rock or something? What else you got out there?
Yeah, what is that beer there?
Not Yingling.
Lions. Yingling. Yes, there it is.
Oh, Yingling.
Yeah.
Okay.
PA, baby.
Yep.
Can't drink that, though. That's become a conservative beer, Can't do that. All right, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Remember that goofball? Bill Nye the Science. Come on, if you grew up in the 90s, you know Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Turd.
Bill Turd. Thank you, Mark. Good job. So he's not actually a scientist, but he pretends to be one. And I remember watching his videos in middle school in the late 90s. And now he's just a 70-year-old crank who promotes left-wing politics. He was on MSNBC last night as Hurricane Milton barrels down on the west coast of Florida. And according to Bill Nye, the only way to stop these hurricanes is to vote for Kamala Harris.
Other side, as we often call it, has no plans to address climate change, no plans for long-term dealing with these sorts of problems. If you have young voters out there, encourage them to vote. People say, what can I do about climate change? If we were talking about it, associating it with big storms like this, that would be really good. But the main thing is vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill Nye, who is actually a mechanical engineer by trade, in case you didn't know. He is not a scientist. He is a mechanical engineer who somehow ended up hoodwinking schools all over the country to become Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Doesn't Bill know the weather can be controlled?
Yeah, I know. You're right.
He should be in on that.
You're right. So you've got some on the far right who are all about controlling the weather and the government can control hurricanes. And then you've got, by the way, a much larger majority on the left side of the political aisle that believes if only we elected Democrats and drove around Teslas, although they can't drive Teslas because of Elon Musk now, so they're all kind of confused on that, we would prevent hurricanes. Now, if we just elected Democrats to the White House to prevent hurricanes, then why hasn't Joe Biden done anything about it the last 3.5 years? And why hasn't Barack Obama? So 3 of the last 4 presidential terms have been Democrats. Biden, Obama, with Trump in between. That is 12 of the past 16 years. Democrats have held the White House. But for some reason, they're not preventing the hurricanes, and we keep putting them into the White House. So somebody explain that to me. Bill Nye the science dork? Jeez. Unbelievable.